you were saying that you had a take on how Judge Crawford should be looking at this race. You left us with a cliffhanger. Let you continue.
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing: when you spend your life doing campaigns, you want to learn from the last one, right? Like,
Mhm.
you know, but you're not going to be running every election is different. But here's the lesson from 2024. And the people who are going to be working for Schimmel are going to be the people who work for Ron Johnson, who ran Donald Trump's campaign, right? It's going to be the
Mhm.
same people. They're going to bring in the A team. It's 100 days, 71 days after Donald Trump took office. So it's going to be a referendum. But the lesson to be learned is in 2024, Republicans built a narrative. That narrative was around trans and athletes, and we don't want men playing women's sports. But it was a narrative. It wasn't about policy, right? It was about a narrative. And they
Mhm.
won on that narrative. And you knew they were winning because you had state legislative candidates literally running ads about trans against their opponent, places like Green Bay. The lesson that the Crawford campaign and Democrats have to take from that is Tammy Baldwin. Tammy Baldwin has literally, I would say, the best political team in the state of Wisconsin right now. It is one that rivals what Tommy Thompson's team was for Republicans back in the mid 90s. A machine.
Mhm.
What did Tammy Baldwin do, Todd and Pat, that differentiated her from Harris and a lot of these losing candidates?
Patrick?
Pat?
Did not know there was going to be a quiz here.
No, she
What in
punched
fact?
back.
Pat,
Yes.
this is what would have happened when we run. When you decide you want to run for governor and you reach out to me because you need a consultant. I was
Yeah.
going to say a good consultant, but I'll just say a consultant, and I'll have a plane to catch when you have problems. By the way,
Yes.
But this is the kind of question I'm going to ask you. What did Tammy Baldwin do that differentiated her in blunting the narratives that they were running against her?
Well, she actually had a record of accomplishment. A lot of it borrowed from
Oh,
some of their
Pat, you're
talking
sounding
points
like a
China.
Democrat here.
What do you? I love these guessing games.
Oh my God.
She went directly to camera and said, I have not changed. You know who I am. Eric Hovde is lying about me.
Okay.
She basically took it directly looking at voters and said, you know who I am. This is a lie. This is what they're doing. I haven't changed. That's what Eric Hovde spent $40 million trying to do. Crawford needs to get in front of this. She needs to come out and say, we have an election coming up here. You are going to hear terrible things about me. You're going to hear things that I allowed an illegal immigrant trans person who was the star of a volleyball team to do whatever. They
I would
have to
direct
come
you.
straight at this, and they need to call BS from the outset.
I would direct you to Up North News Radio on Monday, January 13th, where we had Judge Crawford on, and we asked exactly those questions. Where she could, and she did point out the kinds of things that Brad Schimmel will be saying and doing. And I also see that she will be appearing on Earl Ingram's show tomorrow morning at 9:00. But I'm sure she is listening to your earnest advice, and will carry through with it again when she
And they
appears
need
with
to
Earl
get
tomorrow.
they need to get on the ad. They've got to get they need to get on the air. With all it's great that she's out talking about it, and it's
Well,
the
she's
central
got two-
core.
she's
And
got two ads up.
I knew she was talking about it because I'd seen some clips
Yeah.
of her doing that. But what is key here is they've got to drive it with paid media, and that really gets to where those who care about things like democracy and standing against things like Schimmel is talking about, civil war. If you're against civil war, you need to become involved, and the resources need to be gotten to the groups, but directly to the campaign. Only the campaign and only Crawford herself can go on and literally look Wisconsin voters in the eye and say, "This is what's coming."
Yep, and she's up with two decent ads. I predict, pretty safe prediction. There will be many, many more.